Welcome to Carlo and Bob, the best show in town, where generations square off as a millennial and a baby boomer discuss the latest topics and headlines with a focus on financial literacy and retirement planning.
Our agenda for today's program, we will be covering headlines. We'll be talking about the Federal Reserve increasing interest rates and what that means to you. And then we'll be talking about the millennials and the idea that they have less than $1,000 saved, a lot of them. And why do they need savings? And what are the different types of savings? Emergency funds, short-term savings, long-term savings. And then finally, we're a fun topic. We'll talk about drones and what they might mean for us in the years to come.
Drones.
So we hope you enjoyed today's show.
Thank you for joining Carlo and Bob. Financial literacy is our main topic in every show. And we're here also to, hope when you leave every show that we have, you can have a little bit more wisdom than when you started.
So let's start with headlines, Carlo.
All right. I like that. I do. So we've got interest rates. The Federal Reserve raised them.
They did it today.
They raised them today. It came out. ABC News gave me the little alert on my phone. It said they raised it, I believe, 1/4 of a point, so 0.25.
Okay.
What does that mean? Okay, so I could only take a couple guesses, but we're going to refer to you because I don't think anyone cares what I think. We all care what you think. So what did that mean?
Well, what's it mean to all of us? Well,
okay.
let's talk about who it doesn't affect.
Sure. Who does it not affect?
Well, let's say you bought a house and you got a mortgage at a fixed interest rate of 3.5%.
Not going to change because it was keyword fixed.
Fixed.
Gotcha. Which, again, hate to say it, but the people back in the house bubble, the bubble that bursted,
yep.
Most of them got variables. And so
Yep.
What is a fixed interest rate then?
Well, a fixed interest rate, you lock it in at the time you take out your mortgage, and it stays at that same level for the duration of your mortgage. So it never changes. And that's the beauty. You lock it in and you know what your payment's going to be. And we contrast that to a variable interest rate. And a variable interest rate can change. It can fluctuate from year to year based on the general interest rate environment.
Which would be the Fed Reserve, of course.
And the Federal Reserve is one benchmark people use to set those variable rates. So people that have variable mortgages can be affected by this change that the Federal Reserve just announced.
Well, if they raise and they have someone has a variable loan, that's going to cost them a little bit more money.
Right, their monthly mortgage payment is going to go up.
It's going to go up. And also in the news today, it said that not only did interest rates rise, but it rose the first time in past 7 years.
First time in 7 years. And this all goes back to the Great Recession of 2008.
The housing bubble.
2008 was a terrible time, and a lot of people compare it to the Great Depression.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't as severe, but because we had better knowledge on how to deal with it from an economic standpoint, we handled it better than the Great Depression, and maybe that's why we didn't have a Great Depression.
We called this one a recession.
Great Recession.
Yeah, Great Recession. Oh, okay, the Great Recession.
But it took us from 2008 to 2015 to get someplace where we think the economy is healthy enough now that we can start increasing interest rates.
So Federal Reserve raises the interest rates. Is the Federal Reserve looking at our economy saying, well, okay, we're done giving out loans that have no interest, therefore we don't need money in the we don't need to add money in the circulation anymore. There's enough going around. Is that how they look at that? Like, well, now we're going to actually start docking you some money when you take an investment.
Well, let's be realistic about it. The interest rates that they've maintained over the past 7 years are not normal.
Well, that's what I heard.
Extremely low.
False.
Yeah.
False interest rate.
And they were at that low level to try to promote economic activity. Interest rates are low.
People want to take loans out.
Businesses will take loans. Individuals will take out mortgages to buy homes, and it'll create a lot of economic activity.
Exactly.
Now they feel the economy is strong enough that it can generate that activity on their own without these artificially low interest rates.
And,
so they're going to
having people buy these or taking out these loans.
Yeah, it's not a one-time thing. They've also signaled they're going to gradually increase rates to a more normal amount. And getting back to my initial point of who's affected and who's not.
Yeah.
People that have a variable mortgage are affected. Well, let's say you have a student loan, and a lot of millennials have student loans. Most student loans are at fixed rates.
Okay.
This isn't going to affect you either. But let's say you have a credit card, and you're carrying a balance on that credit card.
Oh.
Oftentimes, credit card balances are variable interest rates. So you may see a tick up in your credit card interest rate. You have some winners and some losers here. Yeah.
So if you have a credit card, how do they understand how the Federal Reserve dictates what American Express does then? Why does American Express become influenced by the interest rates raised?
Well, oftentimes the credit card will say that the interest rate will be 6% plus a certain variable amount, like the Federal Reserve rate or something like
Really?
that. So as that goes up, the amount they charge, it can go up. Yeah.
So not only are you paying the 6, based off of American Express's wishes, American Express feels like, well, if the Federal Reserve is going to make the interest rates go up a little bit, we feel that maybe people can take the loan at a little bit more of a cost.
And they're going to bump you up. That's the bottom line. So you got to read the fine print and know what your interest rate is, fixed or variable, and it really impacts you. Now, some winners in all this. I don't know if you have any money in a money market account at your bank.
Oh, yeah, savings. Just a general savings account.
Yeah, and you've probably been earning close to no interest on it.
I think they're talking points. No, I'm joking. But, I mean, they were close to doing that. If they would have lowered the interest rates, they'd have been taking a penny from me to keep the money in the bank.
So there's some potential winners because now those money market accounts should now start to earn a little bit more. And each time they bump it up, it'll be a little bit more, and maybe it'll be meaningful. Instead of 2 cents every month, maybe you'll get $1 every month.
This is great. Yeah. So then this would run concurrently then with CDs.
Yeah, that's right. CDs could also be a winner in all this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, now it's like
4% is a normal rate, but you think it's high.
Wow, that's amazing. And but they were keeping it at maybe you'd get 1% for 5 years. So that's ridiculous. Okay,
so the bottom line, there are some winners and some losers in this. Overall, this means the Fed thinks our economy is stronger.
Doing a little better.
Yep.
And real quick, I mean, how do they monitor our economy? What do they use?
The Fed has all different data that they monitor. What's the unemployment rate? What kind of output is our factories?
Sure, manufacturing, yeah.
They look at all
PDR,
kinds of data.
right? The gross domestic GDP, excuse me. That's pretty fascinating. Well, so I guess then, and I'm sure it wasn't a significant amount if you look at it in the grand scheme of things. But the good news is they are raising it.
And the stock market reacted favorably today. The market was up today.
Would it usually do that if they raise interest rate?
It really depends. Sometimes if they raise it too quick, they're afraid that that's going to hurt the economy and the market will react in a negative fashion. But if they do it in a gradual fashion, I think the market will like that.
When they raise the interest rates, how does that affect the stock market, though? I mean, because if I'm buying share in a company, how is that spurring the growth or declining the option to grow?
Well, one of the big areas it affects is every company usually borrows money in order to operate.
I see. So then if they got to pay on that debt.
They got to pay higher interest on that debt.
And they're going to take some of that money from the shares, and then maybe they're not making
not as much profit.
Price per share, per share. That's pretty amazing. So we'll keep tabs on it. They may lower it tomorrow. You never know. But we'll keep tabs on it, and we'll always mention that if something does happen.
So let's talk about another headline that I saw, Carlo, and this will lead into our financial Q&A today. The headline said that over 50% of millennials have less than $1,000 in savings.
I don't know if that's better or worse than the baby boomers, because you remember what I said earlier. Baby boomers, at the age of 60 or over, 60% of them only have about $50,000 in savings. So if you did the math, that's almost a tie. Well, clearly we're a product of our parents, so maybe that's what's going on. And I don't know. Wow. So,
well, I wanted to tell you a little bit about millennials. One of the magazines I get, an actuarial magazine, and it talks about the millennials. And did you know that there's about 85 million of them, and now they are the largest portion of the U.S. working population?
Really?
As the baby boomers retire, there's less and less baby boomers, and there's more millennials filling in on the back end.
So you're also saying that the First Amendment may not ever exist again. No, I'm joking, because with millennials, apparently we don't like the First Amendment. But okay.
So
85 million.
And they're different than baby boomers. Over 60% of the millennials are college educated, whereas less than 50% of the baby boomers were college educated. So you have a smarter group here, a much more diverse group, and they're much more avid users of the internet. There's a lot of baby boomers who still are afraid of the internet.
Sure. Boomhauer, whatever his name is on the primetime show, he carries a wallet. I don't know if you ever saw it. I wanted to mention that he doesn't use email. You should see. It's amazing. The guy that always goes, pow, poo. He carries a wallet. He doesn't have any of that stuff. No email, no computer. It's fascinating. Yeah. But you're right. People are scared to use that stuff.
Why do the millennials have so little in savings? Well, some of the statistics say that they're different because they carry the scars from the Great Recession. They were entering the workforce just as the Great Recession hit. Oh. So they were getting hit hard as they were hitting that time of employment. Not only did the Great Recession hurt them, but they came into that Great Recession with a lot of student debt. So they got the double whammy of hard to find a job, and at the same time, they're carrying a lot of debt they got to pay off. And so those two factors alone explain a lot of the reason why they have such little savings.
Who authors this? I mean, who finds this information? We don't need to know the person. I mean, what I mean author is what institution, is it credible?
Well, this is the Society of Actuaries, a large financial organization of actuaries that put this published this article in one of their magazines. So
okay.
It's pretty reputable.
Because you could take it from both sides. You can also say maybe they only have 1,000 because they don't understand what we're here trying to do is help gain financial literacy.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't understand that, when they make a choice, they have to be held accountable. So instead of going to this whole nice big college and they don't have the money to, they should have maybe went to a local community college. I mean, so I'm not going to debate. Again, we're best buds. What I'm saying is we can't let, some of these articles try to say, well, this is what's really happening. Because I'll tell you right now, if you tell me I crashed my car because I just so happened that the car crashed itself, I'm going to latch on to that instead of me actually saying, oh, well, I was probably texting and I crashed. We can't give millennials too much of an out because they'll start latching on to any type of material that comes out and says, oh, no, it's not your fault. Because at the end of the day, I'm a millennial. I like to take accountable. I'm not in the best, I'm not in the best position. I'm still going to school. I'm supposed to be done by friggin' 21. We have to maybe take our hits on the chin and move forward and maybe take a little bit of accountability. Nonetheless, $1,000 is no good.
So what's our Q&A for today, our financial Q&A?
So let's again start, what is a savings? I mean, geez.
Well, I have savings. Who cares if I have less than $1,000? Why do I need it?
Why do I need $100 tomorrow when I can only spend it today?
And a lot of millennials may be asking that question.
What do you think? This is your bread and butter. What do you think? Why?
Well,
why do you have
I think there's really three types of savings, and there's a number of reasons why you want to have savings. And to me, the two primary reasons are, one, life never goes the way we expect it. Does it ever go the way you expect it?
I never thought in a million years I would be having a conversation over a microphone for a show with my new best bud, you. You told me this a year ago. I don't believe you. If someone said, no, you're going to be with Bob having a great time on a Wednesday night, talking to many people, listening about finance, absolutely not. I wouldn't believe it. But here you go. Life is unexpected.
So savings helps us when we have those bumps in the road, when we hit those detours, when unexpected financial challenges come. If we have a little savings, that gives us a little buffer, and it's for that unexpected.
That makes sense.
The second reason for savings is for those goals. We all should have some goals in our life.
What's a couple good reasonable goals for just a good young lad? What's
college education?
There we go.
Purchase a home.
There we
Purchase an automobile. Go on vacation.
There you go. Once in a while, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. You got to treat yourself. But you got to work hard. You got to be smart.
In order to meet those goals, it'd be nice to have some savings so that you're not racking up the credit card debt.
There you go. For someone young, would you promote a credit card for them?
Well, we talked about this last week, and credit cards, if used properly, are good. If not used properly, they can be very harmful. Used good is convenience and earn those cash rewards.
Yeah, those cash rewards. You love those cash rewards.
Not used properly, you rack up debt and earn those penalties and high interest rates.
And you're trying to swim when you can't. We talked about what are savings, and you did kind of mention emergency fund, but not necessarily in that actual word.
I always recommend that everybody should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in an emergency fund. So
that's great.
Think about if I lost my job and it took me 6 months to find a new job, would I have funds to live off of for those 6 months while I was looking for the new job?
No.
That's what the emergency fund is there for, is to help you with a situation like that. Or if I had a real bad injury and I had medical expenses not all covered by insurance, would I have somewhere to tap to pay those expenses?
I mean, and there you have it. This is what we want. I mean, this is what I at least want anyone that's listening to this show to hear. I want them to hear someone with words of wisdom and some ridiculous reputation in the financial literacy field. So this is good. We talk about why you need an emergency fund, and that makes absolute sense.
And that emergency fund should be invested in a way that's very safe and secure, like a money market account or somewhere where you're not going to lose it. So it's always there for you.
Can we give them 3 places that if someone's listening right now and they're saying, okay, this is good, I'm writing this down. Where do they hold this? Where do they hold this?
Well, you could just go to your bank and put it in a savings account with the bank.
There's one.
You can go to the mutual fund family and put it in a money market account with that mutual fund family.
And you may make some money on that.
Make some money with it.
Okay.
Or you can go to a brokerage firm and they would have some type of cash savings account also.
But they'd probably charge you a percentage or two to manage that.
Well,
maybe
you have to read the fine print.
Read the fine print, and that's another theme of ours. You got to always read the fine print. All right.
So that's the emergency fund. That's one type of savings.
Okay. Well, so let's move on to short-term savings.
Yeah, I always talk about this as something that you want to fund where your goal is within the next 5 years, I'm going to spend this money. I'm going to need it within the 5 years. And for everybody, it could be a different goal.
Sure.
For an older gentleman like myself, maybe the roof of my house is 25 years old, and I know in the next 5 years, I'm going to need a new roof.
You're going to need a new one.
So I started saving some short-term money so that when that roof has to go, I got the money to pay for that roof.
Okay.
Someone like yourself, maybe it's a college education that you want to finish over the next 5 years, so you want to have some funds set aside to help you with that tuition. Or maybe your car is 10 years old and it's got 150,000 miles on it.
You may have to be getting a new one.
It may have to get a new one in the next 5 years, so it'd be nice to have some money set aside for that down payment. So
you kind of just make it, and we label it the short term, and you just kind of put a couple coins in here and there as the time goes on, as you continue.
And everybody's going to have different short-term goals and different amounts.
Different amounts because they're going to have different jobs, may not have a job. So.
And it could be that vacation of a lifetime. Maybe you want to travel through Europe with one of your best buds, other than me. And
no, I don't know. I don't know about that. No. I'd still go with you. But yeah, I see what you're saying. We can really say that it is definitely different from an emergency fund, but it almost kind of falls still in that same category.
Yeah,
because it's not necessarily emergency. It's something that you're forecasting.
That's right. Your emergency is more reactive for the unknown. For the unknown, short term is being proactive and looking for. To fund some goals that I have on the horizon.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the professional here, but you would want to still say, hey, listen, we want to always make sure that we have some type of emergency fund first.
That's the base. That's
before
the first. Yep.
A short-term savings.
That's right.
Okay.
They build on one another.
Less than 5 years, as they say that's a reasonable short-term.
And again, investing those funds should be safe and secure because you don't have a long time horizon, but maybe you can park it in a CD for 3 or 4 years if you won't need it.
Okay, so
you don't have to worry about an early penalty because I'm not going to need it.
You're not going to need it, and you know that's when you'll want the money.
Yeah.
Now, the difference of a CD, we want to continue to put money throughout the 5 years. You can't put money in a CD.
You have to get a new CD each time.
Okay. Yeah. But then the other three do work still as well. Like we talked about
that's right.
Savings, we talked about a brokerage, and we talked about mutual. So then we move on to long-term savings.
And this is, again, time horizon-wise, it's a goal you have more than 10 years out. More than 5 years out, I'm sorry. Okay. And some of the typical ones are, if you're a family person, maybe you want to fund your college education for your children. And, maybe they're infants and you got 18 years or so.
You better start saving $1 million a year, I'll tell you that. Because college, it'll be non-existent by that time if the financials continues to rise. But,
well, that's Bernie Sanders win. Everybody gets free college.
Everyone gets free college, but guess what? When you turn around to put a hat or a shirt on to go to college, you won't have it because you won't have any money to buy yourself any type of goods.
We don't want to get political.
No, we're not getting political, but yeah, you'll lose all your money. Long-term savings, we can also still put that in a CD, correct?
We can. It's but with long-term savings, because you have a longer time horizon, you can take more risk.
Okay.
And more risk equates to maybe
more reward. Maybe more reward.
And
right.
That's the stock market. We know the stock market's like the roller coaster, up and down. But over the long term, the stock market generally does better than any other investment. So that's where you can start dipping your toe into the stock market. College education, retirement is a biggie.
Big.
People. That's another long-term goal for a lot of people.
And what falls under retirement? We've talked a little bit about what you can use to save for retirement when we talked about bonds, mutual funds, and stocks. What else would you do with the money? I mean, you don't just hide it in your mattress.
And this will be a topic for another show, but there are many different retirement plans out there, and then we need to talk about those different types of retirement plans. IRAs, 401ks, defined benefit pension plans, 403bs.
Mutual funds, ones to pick out.
That's right, ones under those different plans. So we're not going to talk about that detail today, but just trying to talk about the basics of savings and that retirement planning is one of those long-term goals that a lot of us have.
Yeah.
And it's real important to us baby boomers. And the reality is we're seeing the millennials, most of them could care less about retirement. It's 30, 40 years down the road. So
it's going to hit you before you know
why not enjoy today?
Spend it all now and then figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah, but
that's scary. That's so scary.
I would encourage anybody who's not saving to start saving 1%. And then a year from now, make it 2%. 2 years from now, make it 3%. And then gradually increase it so that maybe in 10 years, you'll be saving 10%. And before you know it,
you have a nest egg.
A nice chunk of change there, yeah.
You got to start focusing on saving. And then again, that's what this show is about.
We'll build upon it, but it's going to be a gradual process and starting with the basics. And the basics today is savings.
Very good.
Set up that emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For short-term goals, start setting aside some money to meet those. And then don't forget your long-term goals and anything more than 5 years out. But start and build upon each of those slowly over time. And it's important to do so.
You have to. Again, letting people know we're building the blocks.
Yep.
So then as we can gradually make our way to maybe the 5th episode or the 7th show, we could start maybe making some sense when we talk about a specific mutual fund or a stock that you're just interested in. You're like, well, check this out. And so this is great. So today we talked about emergency funds. Short-term savings, like you said. It's fascinating that the millennials only have about $1,000. You said 85 million millennials.
That's what the statistics say.
Wow.
The largest group in America right now, working age. So you have the millennials, you have the Generation X, and then you have the baby boomers. And the millennials...
What are tweeners?
Tweeners.
Yeah, what are tweens? Don't they call them tweens or something like that?
I don't know. Maybe they're between those generations, right on the border. Yeah.
I hear all these new words these days. I can't even keep up with it. I don't know. Well,
let's end with something on the light side.
Okay,
Carlo.
let's do some fun things.
What do you think about drones?
Drones.
Do you know what drones are?
They've got 4 different type of propellers, or maybe the same propellers on like this weird alien looking thing. You just you got a controller, of course, and it takes off. It got small little propellers though on each corner, and it takes off, and apparently you can spy on. Well, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but you can put a camera to it, right? I mean, do they fly? Or am I talking about the right drones?
Yeah, they fly, and I think we most commonly hear when the U.S. uses them for military purposes.
Oh, very
and
true.
Takes out one of our enemies using a drone.
But I mean, if they can get the job done without really hurting an individual.
But don't they scare you a little? I mean, just think about it.
Sure.
You could be going home tonight and this drone's following you.
Well, the noise would scare me more. Because I bet it'd have this zzz, and I'm like, whoa, what's that? It's not a bear. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, and then if it's equipped with missiles, I know. I mean, yeah, it would scare me. I know people are worried about their privacy. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, are you scared by it?
As with everything, they can be used for good.
Sure.
And they can be used for bad. Just think about it. We're sitting here today and we're drinking a 6-pack and we run out.
Okay.
I go out on the computer and I say, beer store, deliver me another 6-pack. And 5 minutes later, a drone's at my door with a 6-pack. What do you think?
Do you think that's possible? You think they're trying to do that?
I think Amazon wants to use drones to deliver their packages. So that instead of using UPS, they'll just have these drones flying all over the country, dropping packages here and there.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, what do I think? I mean, it sounds awesome. I mean, it does. It sounds awesome, but on the same token, I mean, what if one of those things? Who's driving them? I mean, who's operating these little drones?
Well, you got driverless cars coming. You could have driverless drones. Just plug in Carlo's address and off it goes.
I don't know. Maybe I don't like them. I don't see them to be something that I don't see them helping me or hurting me at this point, because I don't like to shop online. I don't like it. I'm not an online shopper. I don't trust.
You're a millennial. I thought that's all you did was shop online.
I know if I put my credit card online, I'm going to have some type of banker calling me saying, "Hey, you lost all your funds." What do you mean? Because it got hacked. I don't trust him. So when you talk about drones, at least I know what I'm getting. If someone's going to drop off a package, okay, so be it. It's a human or if it's a drone. I prefer a human. I could sign. I could say good day to you, and I can actually remember, this is someone that actually brought the package.
You're sounding like a baby boomer. You want to see real people.
I should have been a baby boomer. I said I was an old soul. I don't like a lot of this nonsense, so I don't know. I mean, drones, you can have them. I don't care for them. I don't care.
It'll be a long ways because the FAA has to regulate who has what airspace to drive their drone and all that stuff. So
let's hire more people to talk about how.
But a dream 20 years from now, drones could be dropping off all kinds of stuff for us, and it'd be like the Jetsons. You ever see the Jetsons?
Everything flying back and forth, and you're just like. like those noises. Yeah, I mean, listen, if it happens in my day, I'd say, hey, that's awesome. But if not, I won't cry over spilled milk type of thing. It's not. I'm not a big fan of anything like that or the driverless car. I mean, you got Toyota, and you got all these people saying, "Oh, Toyota's safe." I'm trying to brake at a stop sign. I'm going to continue going past that stop sign because my brakes don't work. I'm dead. So, like, I don't want any of that. I mean, just tell me the truth.
All right. Well, that'll be another one to stay tuned for. But it'll be interesting because I can imagine 20 years from now, there's going to be a lot of interesting things happening.
Listen, they can join this Earth in 20 years as long as our show's still on Earth. That's all I care about. And then we'll have them on the show if they can speak. If they can fly around, they can speak probably. So, I don't know. All right.
What do you want to close with? Any words of wisdom?
Oh, man, words of wisdom. Well, no, I really don't have much to say. I'm still learning each and every day, but I'd like to just shout out to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just want them to do great every Sunday.
All right, well, I went to see the Eagles on Sunday.
You did.
It's great to be in South Philly, and they won. They made it exciting as always, and now they got the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday night, and they win that. They could definitely be in playoffs. We'll see. All right, my words of wisdom, Henry David Thoreau, who said, our life is frittered away with complexity. Simplify, simplify, simplify. I'm just...
That's what we're here to do. This is what we're here to do. We're here to simplify. Forget about Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Eagles. We're here to get people to understand, hey, this is what you need to do with your money so that you can actually be living a fruitful life. Thank you, Bob. Always a pleasure having you.
Same here. Until next week.
Yes, sir. Goodbye.